Okay, so back at the front cap area, this particular molding here is called a screw cover, or this molding is called an insert molding. This molding clips onto an aluminum track that has two little, we'll call it Mickey Mouse ears on each side. So it actually clips onto the track. What's important about this is you'll see that the sealant is starting to dry out and deteriorate. As we go up higher, it's actually coming loose and missing the sealant clear up at the top. So there's no current sealant up there. Then what I see too up here is on the rain gutter end, it's shrunk up and it's been allowed to move. We also see sealant missing around the windows. So most of the windows, I'm kind of standing in the sun, so I don't want to give you too much of a glare, but most of the windows don't have any kind of caulking or sealant around them, like this outside speaker or these moldings. So when checking your coach, if there's areas that have penetrations through something, make sure that they're sealed all the way. If they're not sealed, I would recommend that you get them sealed as soon as possible. Even keep in mind, normal washing of the coach, daily condensation, traveling through rain, you're taking a risk of it getting water into the unit. The door handles, as you can see, there's no sealant around the door handles. And see how I can move that? Get in a little closer. So the actual paddle itself is loose. Let's see here. See how I can move that back and forth? So the paddle lock is loose. Screw cover on the entry door is coming loose. This is one of those ones that has the friction hinges. The entry door itself has not been sealed. It does have the keyless lock on it. It hasn't been sealed. A lot of times I'm checking to see if those are loose. Same thing with the Strongberg Carlson door handles. I'm also looking at fender skirts all the time too to see if there's braces. So check this out. We have a screw here. We have a screw here. There's no other screw or bracket. So as you can see this, if I'm just barely flicking on my finger, imagine the road vibration and the wind, and it hasn't broke off yet, but it's gonna start cracking this, and sooner or later he's gonna end up missing that piece of the fender skirt. At least they put some padding, some bulb seal to kind of help secure it here, but it is at a sharp angle, so it's caused it to warp. The fender skirts, even though it's a year old, you can see that it's already starting to discolor and dry out. And then I want to draw attention to the slide out flanges. So see how I'm able to get to that gap back there? There's a gap big enough for me to put a 50-cent piece back behind. So I would get that secured up. A lot of times you'll see, depending on the technician at the plant that was installing the screws in the Z-lock, sometimes they'll just be sporadic on the distance where they haven't took and used a tape measure. So all these distances are different versus down here, you'll see where they're a lot closer. I can use my fingers to almost touch it. So see the distance in between here, and you see how it gets wider and wider? It's sporadic, right? I can touch that one, I cannot touch that one. So attention to detail. I always like to put screws toward the end on both ends, just like they did at these ends. So keep an eye on your Z-lock. If this sealant, which is all dried out and cracked, a lot of times this stuff will just get brittle, and it's like a cuticle on a nail. So when it separates, when you get in there real close, you don't see it. Like this area here, it'll allow water to get underneath that edge, go right into the inside of the wall and cause damage to your floor. Most of the time you will not see that water getting into the coach. It'll take years and years for it to dry rot the floor, but if you go online and you look at any of the floors, whether it be on an Alliance or any of the other brands, you'll see water damage already. So people starting to report that and show. And again, look at how bad, I'm able to rub this sealant right off her. It's so dried out that it's just coming off with my finger.